It feels like this movie's more difficult than the first one, for sure. The movie doesn't have any breaks, you know? It seems like there's so many sequences.
Nights in the cold and 2 units going at the same time. Very often they don't know quite what the other one's doing or has done.
It's a challenge to really just stay in the moment and not think about fake blood being tossed right in your face, because the reality of it is that you're watching someone die in the most horrific possible way.
It stops right before it goes down the dip, and I'm like, oh my gosh, babe, we're gonna die. We're gonna go down because I'm on this roller coaster.
I could die tomorrow. I could die on the way home. I could die when I'm 90. We don't know when we're gonna die, but it's gonna happen.
I think the worst death would be burning but not dying immediately. Where you linger in abject agony for days until finally your system, the toxic carbon poisons and gives out in a rush of fear.
And it is going to, and I'm going to do something.
Not just succumb to what's inevitable, to kind of fight your way through life.
If that doesn't satisfy the sick bastards of America, well then, I don't know what will.
We don't have offices yet, so our production meeting is taking place downstairs in the Sun Place Hotel.
On this roller coaster,
You've got to talk to the roller coaster guy to see what was.
it feels like this movie's more difficult than the first one, for sure.
No, this is the back wall.
I think mainly because we have a smaller budget and the movie doesn't have any breaks, you know? It seems like there's so many sequences. You get through one and it's not like there's a nice, gentle scene to play. It seems like everything has there's another one coming up right at you.
Scene Apple 1, A1. 69, 71, 72, Apple, and 74, Kevin spots U-Haul. Scene 92, nails fall into forklift pallet, second unit. The reason I'm confused about Kevin's truck, Mark and Sylvia, is because I know that we had multiples, which I'm going to talk about right now.
We have to know in pretty particular ways who's going to do what and where we're going to get that image. The storyboarding helps facilitate that process, because otherwise it would just be in my head and no one else will know what's in my head. I don't know what's in my head half the time.
What we're going to be doing, Jack, the first plate's going to be Kevin acting like he gets hit. Plate 2 is we're going to green bag his lower half and we're going to pull him, right? Yeah. So when he gets hit, we're going to actually pull him out.
They had it in 2 versions.
Storyboards are really useful when you've got a lot of special effects elements and when you've got a really big action sequence and you want to make sure that you've got all the beats. Certainly if you try and duplicate the framing and the way they're drawn, you're usually going to lose that one, because artists can actually draw things that are physically impossible, for one thing. So as a general roadmap, they're fantastic, but in terms of general shooting, I don't think any of us get too worked out about matching them frame for frame or anything like that.
You know, we've spent a lot of time reading a whole bunch of kids for this movie. At one point, they would say, we can cast all unknowns. And then as you get closer to the process of actually casting, other departments in the studio would start to say, well, how am I going to market this? We got to get people on TV. But the crazy thing about movies is that it comes out probably a year and a half from when we're starting to shoot. And the person who's on a hot show, that show can be canceled, or it could be on the wane. So it's a tough thing to know who's going to be hot, you know, at the time when your movie's released.
But in terms of the traditional stars of Brad Pitt and all those kinds of guys, this franchise never needed it. I think that by killing people who you don't already know and love and have some kind of built-in baggage, ultimately there's not that much loyalty to our actors. You know, they're willing to let them die and not think twice about it. But, you know, I happen to think that a lot of the actors have very promising careers ahead of them. This is hopefully the break for most, if not all of them.
It was always intended that we shoot the kids on the roller coaster first. So there's not much to do except put the camera on the roller coaster, have the kids act scared or happy or whatever. But right before we're about to shoot, the weather changes, and now it's supposed to rain. So we decided to do a scene that was supposed to be set in the rain first, since it was supposed to rain.
Okay, that's right. All right. Action. Oh, Wendy, is it possible to get the returning your camera?
Of course, on the first day we get there, it's beautiful sunshine, and now you're going, how can this happen to me, you know? When we want it to be rainy, it is the most glorious day that has been here in Vancouver. Look, there's not a cloud in the sky. There's a lot of impromptu things that happen on set, but you know, you have to be prepared very specifically about what you want.
Yeah, so that Julie can see what's happening.
That means a little bit of a scramble for myself because I didn't expect to shoot that scene until, I think, next month.
She studies her sister. She averts her eyes, hurts.
No, Kevin's offered to help. You're afraid to deal.
Can you blame her? I mean, the only answer for what happened to her has got to be some fucked up demonic shit.
That's it. Those are the words you two wrote.
No, that was those kids from UCLA.
We hire a couple of guys, anonymous guys. They write the script. We sign our names to it. We get paid. We give them like 50 cents to, an hour or something like that. Because they're getting experience, real film experience.
Because I've never heard it put just that way. Studies her sister as Kevin hustles up to Wendy. Julie averts her eyes. Hurt. ...
Faulkner would like that.
It's too good. It's a beautiful thing.
I first met Jim Wong at El Cajon Valley High School in Mrs. Brooks' honors English class. He read my short story and liked it, so I thought he was very smart, had taste.
I remember when I was really young, I used to write these stories with my friends, and I thought, that was really fun. But then I never really thought, you could make a living doing that. I went to school as an engineering major for the first semester in college because my brother was an engineer, and it seemed like that's what I was expected to do.
Jim's brother Pete went to Loyola Marymount, and then looking at it, Loyola Marymount had a film program that would take any knucklehead that applied. I went there because USC and UCLA wouldn't have me. I was too lowly.
My roommate Glenn and my best friend, he was a film major, so he was already heading towards that way of working in the film industry. We'd go see a lot of movies because he was a film major and I liked seeing movies. And I sort of felt like the films that I really took to were these kind of gritty, late 70s dramas where you have more of an anti-hero, where people took action. I loved all the Bob Fosse movies and George Roy Hill movies, Scorsese movies, and, of course, Coppola movies.
We went to see Apocalypse Now, I think September 24th, 1979, at the Cinerama Dome, which would have been 2 weeks after school started. And I think that had a huge impact on him.
When I saw that, I realized how a person's vision can change other people's lives or change how you feel about different parts of history. And, watching that movie, being inspired by it or being motivated to do something like that was what made me become a film major.
All right, cut. Excellent. Okay.
I went to the Disneylands and Magic Mountains primarily looking for omens of death. The airport just has all kinds of portents to send a shiver down your spine that you're going to crash. In an amusement park, I noticed how hard they work at not having those things. The county fairs are just a little bit more slapdash.
The peculiarity of the schedule on this show was that it's heavily top-ended with the biggest sets. And it meant that we had to have 90% of the show designed before the first frame of film went through the camera. The Devil's made almost entirely of styrofoam. It weighs in the neighborhood of 2 tons, which is a lot of styrofoam, and probably has 7.5 tons of support to keep it from flying away. It was about 6 weeks from the time the first knife hit the styrofoam to the time we set up, which is pretty good for what we got.
Yo, what's cracking behind the scenes? As you see, we got the lovely devil going on with the balls hanging and stuff. You see how big the devil's balls is? The balls. It's like humongous.
It's anatomically correct.
Action! Get out! Yeah, what are you even doing here anyway? Yeah, you graduated like 2 years ago.
I stuck around and monitored your development.
There he is. There he is.
Welcome to Devil's Flight.
Man, I got my pass right here, man. Hell, no, what? No, shut up, Kevin.
Now he's after Jason, but then you go, well, but he says to this girl, you stay out here with them. That happens first. And then, so it was like horrible. It was like, suddenly you go, oh my God, he can't be here first and then be behind them. Or how can he be behind them when he's there first? So you have to go, okay, then he gets, held up somehow. I'm coming here Monday to shoot this sequence earlier than I expected to because, again, the weather forecast is for rain. I expected to shoot the roller coaster, but now here I am in the middle of the day on the weekend going, how did I shoot this set?
How's it going, Jim?
I'm a little tired.
I'm tired, yeah.
I wasn't in bed until 4.
4 a.m.?
Yeah.
Wow,
Well, I was freaking out.
I couldn't stay awake.
I was thinking about this, and it sort of, because I had to figure out where people were, and you know, it was confusing. It's a big puzzle that when you're writing it, you think, oh yeah, and then he says this, but then you don't think of the logistics of this set. You gotta go work backwards. You gotta start with the roller coaster. Who's sitting where, right? Before Frankie takes your spot, where are you? And then at one point in the script, you guys are supposed to ease up 5 spots, right? If you were snaking up 5 spots and you're behind the first people are already going. So how do you get to number 1 spot? Anyways, you see what I'm getting at? It becomes very complicated.
Yeah, you want to simplify it.
I know. Well, trust me. At 11 o'clock last night, I was going, huh? Oh yeah. The other thing is, 2 of the characters that might die, who are in danger of dying, you don't even know who they are, but they have to exist because they actually go into the roller coaster. But you have to make it natural. You can't make it just seem like suddenly people are hiding their faces all the time. Cut. You gotta have the girls look that way. Watching Wendy.
Yeah, just slightly, guys. Yeah, you don't want to make it look too obvious, but yeah, you gotta just hide your face.
So, there you have it. The challenge.
This just want some fucking attention. You know what? You're a real piece of shit, Louis. Fuck you. What the fuck, moi? Yeah. No, fuck you. I'll fucking touch you. Hey, guys. Hey!
If you do that, you'll be like, bam, right? That quick.
You need to throw it faster.
I am going to throw it faster. Yeah.
Louis, you're a real piece of shit. You know that? Fuck you. Oh, fuck moi. Yeah. No, Kevin, fuck you. Hey,
Is that good for you?
Well, yeah, it was pretty good, but you know what I'd like to see? I think I'd like to see them all kiss and make up.
Thank you, camera reload. You all right, dude?
Yeah, I'm okay. I actually bounced.
Oh, we saw it. It was quite funny.
Thank you, Casey Playback.
Let me get the director to make this post again if we keep watching. I like to listen to music that sort of makes me feel emotional and makes me think about things that, make me cry. A lot of times it'll be even just like certain lyrics to certain songs that I have to just keep in my head and keep repeating to myself that I'll relate it to something in my life and it'll just make me extremely emotional. And so if I keep like pounding that into my head and it just makes me like more and more and more emotional to the point where I'm just like, gonna break down completely. So I have a whole playlist actually that I made for the audition that I still have on my iPhone for the final destination 3 audition. But yeah, we'll take a look at that later. We'll get back to that. I actually usually like auditioning. I like being able to go in a room and just show I can act, just hope that they appreciate that. But at the same time, it's really frustrating because a lot of times they appreciate other things more. They want somebody blonde and, perky.
That it maybe even caused the hallucination, but this fear is more than just being scared.
I had a feeling that I'd done well. I felt like I did what I wanted to do just as an actor in the audition. I had a feeling like I wasn't going to get it, though. That was just sort of my general feeling. I just said, okay, I did a good job, but they didn't like me.
She probably wasn't what I first imagined her to be, because I was kind of thinking blonde, and maybe that's what got me. That's what got me kind of off track. I thought Mary had a real kind of a soulful quality about her. That there's a lot of emotion that she brought to the role, and she was strong.
I saw it in my head.
You're here, right? You go.
The first week, we're just kind of thrown into it, just meeting everybody, and basically, I'm doing one of my biggest scenes almost in the script. That was a hard week. It is a little bit frustrating when you have an idea that you're going to be doing something and you're preparing for one thing, and then all of a sudden it sort of just shifts to something completely different, especially if that different thing is something that you really wanted to take time with and really work on before you went into it. But kind of have to just let it go and just do the best you can and hope that, it turns out the way you want it.
All right, let's do this, babe. What are you?
Here you go.
Yeah, let's do this. Woo!
We have to get off of here. No, don't push the button! Don't push the button!
Yeah.
Let me out!
Win, it's all right. Jesus.
No, it's gonna crash! The hydraulics will rupture the tracks will collapse, please!
if it's like a comedy, I'll create like a fun playlist that'll like get my energy up and everything. But I typically have like a set of songs that kind of stay the same, like for every scene that involves like crying and emotions and stuff. These songs kind of do it to me every time, and I'll eventually find new ones because sometimes they don't have the same effect after listening to it 100 times. But so far, they still make me cry every time. They're sad songs.
Action!
Hey, please, no!
Hey, ease up, man. She's all right. Let her settle down, man. Settle down at home. Now look it up. What is your home? Hey.
I felt pretty good about the whole premonition freak out scene. That one I was really worried about because I've never done a scene like that before where you really have to go that far in your emotions. So I was happy that I was able to pull that off to the way that I wanted to. So I'm excited to watch that to see how that turned out because in my head I think it turned out pretty good, but you never know. I thought I was maybe more close.
Today is the first day that you're going to be on the coaster.
Uh-huh.
And your thoughts?
My exact thoughts at this very moment is I'm so happy that you're catching me without any makeup on.
I'm definitely scared. I know one ride's pretty much enough for me.
I don't really know how many times, like, you know, people keep warning us that it's gonna be a lot, but I don't really know what that means, so.
I will be a sobbing mess in the fetal position on the floor hiding in the washroom if you need me.
I'm excited because the first person who gets nervous and uncomfortable, I'm gonna make so much fun of for strength, for personal strength. So I'm hoping it's Texas, and even if Texas can handle it, I'm still gonna pretend he can't and make fun of him the whole time.
Well, we have those wristbands that they can put on the sensor on their wrist, so that should help with the nauseousness or any uneasiness, motion sickness.
We have all the doubles, double the costumes, double the costumes in case they throw up.
We had a bet as to who would throw up on a roller coaster. This roller coaster has a couple of corkscrews, and when I went on it for 3 times, I felt like I was pretty close.
And who would you put your money on?
Maybe on Shalane.
I put money on me barfing first, too.
We'll bet in Texas, just because it would be funny.
Well, yeah, Texas doesn't look like a pussy, but Texas is a pussy.
Oh my God.
And you can quote me on that.
And who are the bets on?
Texas. Texas. You think he's gonna be like, oh man,
Oh, yeah.
I can't do this shit, man. Oh.
I bet on Texas. The one who speaks the loudest usually can't do it best.
Hey! What? Racking. Got a little burrito in my hand saying what's up to all the homies. We have bets going on to see who the first one that can throw up. Ain't gonna be me. I'm ready.
Well, make sure if I puke, you get it on camera. And then you can tie this all together.
Before we realized that we were actually going to be able to make a remote-controlled camera work on the train that we could pan and tilt with, we were looking at all kinds of other options, including putting our operator in a backwards-mounted seat with a camera mounted to a helmet. But that became very obvious that we weren't going to be able to do that because of safety considerations. There's just no way anybody was going to be allowed to ride the train unless they were properly harnessed in.
The roller coaster, yeah, has to scare you in a way you recognize. The fear on a roller coaster is from a loss of control. I don't have it when I go on an airplane, but I'm on a roller coaster and you're going up the lift hill, I want out. The fact that I can't get out is unbearable. And so try to make that the theme, that these are kids at what all kids think is really the start of their life out of high school, and now finally they have some control over their lives and the college that they choose or the jobs they're going to take. Now comes a situation for Wendy that's out of her control, and she's afraid of it, but now is all about trying to recapture it.
Definitely, we didn't want a really smooth feeling ride. We wanted something that was going to be as subjective and tooth-rattling as possible.
The real roller coaster wasn't too bad until probably like the 13th time around. And then I started getting a really bad headache and just feeling not like myself at all. It was just a really strange feeling in my head.
This is the first time the whole cast is on the ride. We about to do it, the whole cast,
And this is
everybody.
when it's going down.
It's going
the
down.
Whole cast is on.
The whole cast is going down.
Ryan and Mary did it tons of times. It had already gone 40 times, this roller coaster. And just when we get on it, the first time it goes up, it stops. Like, it stops right before it goes down the dip. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Kate, like, we're gonna die. We're gonna go down because I'm on this roller coaster.
Oh, this is it. Don't be scared, sweetie.
Frankie, don't do that. The roller coaster stopped.
Oh, I'm a girl, and
I'm scared.
I'm scared.
I am. I hate this.
Why don't you give me your hand and I'll give you something to be scared about?
Cutting, guys. We have a technical problem.
And the whole thing, like, shook, and that was kind of freaky. You really feel like you're just, you know, no matter how many professionals are around, you're really just on a big metal rod in the middle of the sky.
Off this fucking thing.
The black man!
Shake.
Save the black man! Please!
Get us
Save the black man! Save the black man! All right, girls. Dare you to flash me them titties when we go through the loop!
Do we get a little break after that?
Now, the first night we rode the roller coaster, I think our record was 22 times that night. And we thought, wow, there's no way this record will ever be shattered. We've done 22 times on one roller coaster in one night. Never imagining that we would shatter that record many times over the course of, like, the 3 nights that we shot it.
Well, one of the things that keeps an action sequence going is a progression of shots, so you never, hopefully, revisit the same shot twice, so you're always moving on to another one, something new and different.
Too steep angle.
And we're putting the mirror in, are we?
It's a very, very old movie trick where you set up a mirror to reflect the object coming at you in it so that it looks like it's going to run right over the camera. Probably at any given time, we tried to have at least 2 or 3 cameras going because, again, time was so limited that the more pieces we could get per each pass of the train, the more exciting the sequence is going to be.
Action, Rory.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, we got the descender shot. Moving over to the coaster mounts.
There's a little trick play, which is flipping the film.
Right. We're going to do a regular shot and also the reverse shot, meaning that we're going to switch their clothing from regular to sort of a mirrored image. Does not mean that Kevin wears Winnie's clothes and Winnie wears Kevin's clothes. Just means they wear the same clothes except all the lettering would be backwards on one version of it.
Hey, what school do you go to?
And in post, we're going to flop the film in order to give us another direction that the riders are moving.
I just still don't get it. Will it look like we're going backwards?
You guys sit on this side, she's got to sit on the other side.
Oh, another interesting thing.
That's how they did all of Titanic. They only built half the boat.
Oh.
So that when you flip the film now, you end up with a whole boat.
So what are we trying to do exactly? by
Double the
flipping?
length of the roller coaster.
Double length of the roller coaster. Got it.
Look, we have to sit on towels because our bottoms are so sore from sitting all day.
Okay, tomorrow bring your own cushion. Oh yeah, we're not here tomorrow.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not here tomorrow, but okay.
We're 15 minutes away from daylight.
We have the mount shots on the roller coaster to do, and that's the last thing we have to do. We get it, we're out of this location.
As soon as the sun came up, I was like, oh no, here we go. Because once the sun comes up, Jim's got to get in as many shots as he can, right? And I know that. So as soon as the sun comes up, that means
They
that
were
we're
like, go,
yeah,
go
keep
again.
going, go again, go again. Shalane was supposed to be the first one to barf. She
but
didn't.
I didn't.
I don't know why.
Thank you.
I was trying to make her so that I'd win the extra $10, but it didn't happen.
It would have been a better story if, you know, if somebody actually hurled, but...
I think we all lost that bet because, you know, everyone's very quiet about it, but pretty much in the third night, we were all kind of sneaking off halfway through just to quietly go weep in the bushes because it got traumatizing.
You got the most votes for...
What? What the heck's going on? I got the most votes?
We're always trying to find situations that a lot of this audience, a lot of people have been through. I don't know, maybe because we're writing it around the 4th of July and you go till when, you know, 4th of July festival, you start looking around and you go, once a year, everybody in the U.S. goes to something like this. And you've been to enough of them that you just kind of made up what you wanted, and then you start realizing, well, there's not a lot of immediate danger there, but then if you made it a colonial thing, you could have the blacksmith might be a potential. You just want a bunch of things that the audience might go, oh, it could be that. It could be that.
So let's go a little bit over here and let him cross over so we can...
Well, the challenge of shooting at night at this time of year in Vancouver is that we don't have a lot of night time.
So June, I don't want to see this part if we can. I want to pull back like this until we get here.
Yeah.
Or, you know, when she crosses, so you can put it back.
There's so much work, and it seems like every time you change a camera position, it takes forever. You know, whether it's the lighting or making the move work or the actors.
Cameras up. Here we go. We're shooting.
Give a couple of pauses. Look at this table here, table here, thing there, okay?
112 is up, my sure. 112.
Okay, 112, take 1.
Sounds good.
112, take 2. 112, take 3.
Resetting this way, gang. Okay, now we're looking down towards the water.
And walk off camera.
Hey guys, we're looking down here.
Yep. On this side of his face, right? He's looking this way, right? Yep. So he turns and looks over here. Ready? Ready?
Sounds good.
112 apple, take 1, Beerly marker.
Next. Put it out there.
To the crane?
Yeah.
Perfect. Camera's on the crane halfway up the hill towards the lot. John Mary walking down towards the festival.
We have such a short amount of time in dusk. You almost have to do it in one shot, or else you never make it. Shots like this. We're looking this way. She walks in the frame, and we're looking down, I guess.
All right, here we go. This is picture. Bring the crane. Ready? Action.
So, Mary.
Here we go.
And action!
There's time to do one more?
Yeah, go. And cut, reset.
Background, guys, background. Background. Rolling.
What's the right spot for her?
Rolling. Check. Background. 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 Action.
You know, Jim, Glenn, Craig, Rob, McLaughlin, everybody who worked on this is like a well-oiled machine. They've all worked together before, and they know each other's styles. It's always very well planned out. Although sometimes it's fun to be chaotic, you know? You never know.
It'd be like this, like...
Right.
Or I can go like...
You can left-handed or you can go across
Yeah,
your body with your right
I can go like this.
Yeah.
But I think this looks cooler.
I don't know about that.
I was saying, look too Zorro-ish.
I remember seeing Ryan. After Ryan read, I go, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Really?
Yeah, I go, that's exactly the person I'm looking for.
I wish you would have called my agent right then and said that.
I felt that just looking at Ryan, the way he talked, and, you know, I really felt that I knew him in high school. You know what I mean? I knew this kid in high school. He had to have an all-American boy next door quality, but then you can see him turning and becoming the hero. It's a straddling the line kind of quality.
Well, thank you, Jim. That's what I said when I walked out, too. That's the director I want to work with.
Right there.
And Craig, like, I was like, who the hell was that guy? Because I shook everybody's hand. He was like, vote for me in 2006. And I was like, that was fucking random. What was that?
Is that what he said? I don't remember that.
I said, some guy said, vote for me in 2006. They go, who was that guy? I go, I don't know. And now that I know his personality, it makes total sense. Yeah.
We have to get out of here now.
What's the deal?
Ian followed me. In my picture, I was wearing the McKinley grad night shirt. Ian McKinley.
There's a first aid tent. There should be security.
Excellent.
Stay
Cut.
away from me.
I personally don't think I would have had any better chemistry with anyone else.
That's right. Wouldn't have been possible. We would have walked right off the set.
You know what, Mary Elizabeth? That's the only person.
No one else.
I like her highlights. They stand out.
No, wait! You're in danger, okay? I'm trying to explain something.
Let me explain this to you.
I'm practicing because I have problems with these two fingers. They don't stay. And apparently I have really ugly middle fingers. And you mean it when you do it like this. So fuck you, Wendy.
Julie, look out! Superman! I'd originally auditioned for the role of Aaron.
What? I'm gonna OD on nail polish, and Logan here is gonna be embarrassed to death?
Didn't hear back for a while. Then they wanted me to come in and audition for the role of Carrie.
I'm breaking up with him. A couple weeks after graduation. I'm wanting to for a while. Don't say nothing though, okay?
Didn't hear back for a while. Then I got a call to see if I was interested in auditioning for the role of Ashley or Ashlyn. And then the next time they called, it was to say that I got the part of Julie, which I was obviously very happy. But actually, Alex, who got the part of Aaron, she initially auditioned for Julie in the beginning, so it kind of switched. The whole Centennial thing was probably the most difficult thing for me, just because I've never had to do a scene of that emotional level.
I need to know who was sitting next to you on the roller coaster.
And then I started getting really scared when I saw the horse. There's one shot where the horse goes right by me, and if it moved a foot, I would have been trampled on.
Prepping the horses for the tricentennial took a fair amount of time. The difficulties we had here was the fact that we were doing it at night. We had, at times we had fireworks going off. We had a crowd of extras out there. You know, we couldn't fill the place with stunt guys and just let it go crazy. It was just too big of a scene. So we started with a well-trained Liberty horse. And at that point there, what we started doing is we started actually doing our rehearsals on the set before they even had started constructing the set. And we were out there with tape measures and flags and marking out where everything was going to be. Then on top of all of that, we had to drag a person behind them. So we needed to know that that person was not going to get drug into any of these dangerous farm implements or get drug into something that would in turn drag into everybody else. So that took a lot of work for that to happen.
Going into it, I was like, this is gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so easy. Stunt people are just gonna put me on some rolly wheels on my back. I really did think that I was gonna be sitting on something that had wheels on it, so that'd be rolling. But I wasn't. They really did drag me, but I had a harness or whatever. And so as they're going over the stunts, I realized how much more serious this was.
If it's too much, just peel Jake.
Okay.
That way we know that you're not acting anymore.
Right. Okay, that's a good sign.
We actually put Amanda into a lot of the shots. And when I walked in, I thought I was going to have to pamper her and look after her. And I was thinking frail, but that's not the case.
I don't mind if it hurts a little, because I'd rather be really tight.
Everything had to be to some degree of roughness for her so she could play the part to her best advantage.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
So the whole time I was worried about hurting her, she was just saying, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on again. I can take it. Very tough girl. Very impressive.
It looks really good. I think, you're just battered. Every movement you make is painful.
Hopefully it's painful.
Ready? And...
We need to get out of here now.
What's the deal?
Ian followed me. In my picture, I was wearing the McKinley grad night shirt. Ian McKinley.
All right, there's a first aid station. There should be security. Get the fuck out of here, McKinley!
I loved, in Hitchcock in To Catch a Thief, there was this wonderful kind of seduction scene under fireworks. So I wanted to do that, because I always thought the fireworks and, when you have the color lights and then it goes dark and, sort of that light and dark thing, I really wanted to do that.
Fireworks!
Camera reload.
One of the things we did at the Tricentennial is we had to actually do elements of a live fireworks show for some of the work out there. We wanted to actually get some of the shots, and rather than go to a visual effects background. We wanted to get some of the shots where the cast were actually backed by real fireworks. And we set it up in the same way that a small rural show might shoot. We'd fire a test shell to find out for each shot. Once Rob had the angles set up, we'd take a guess on where we wanted the shell to break in the sky. And then if he was happy, we'd set off as many as 9 or 10 shells on a couple of shots. They'd do their lines, so they'd go together to give them this nice little stacked effect of the real fireworks going off.
Yeah. I can't hear you, Jim.
The color of all fast food restaurants. Think about it. What are the colors? McDonald's, yellow and red. Wendy's, yellow and red. In-N-Out Burger, yellow and red. Jack in the Box, just red, but maybe that's why they're a little lower in the food chain. Burger King, yellow and red. Hence, yellow and red.
The hardest location to secure would be the fast food outlet at the bottom of the hill with the truck breaking away. And there's a lot of different elements there with the steepness of the hill and the rest of it, and finding the perfect place at the bottom of the hill. So that is really what I thought would end up consuming most of our time and effort. We ended up finding a building that had enough space beside it and enough of a frontage on it that the art department could do both sides of it, give us the appearance exactly of what we wanted for the drive-through, and then we started to work on it.
We are turning this into the drive-through of a as yet to be named restaurant. There will be an order window. The door will be the pickup window. This will be paved.
Jim was not a believer. I walked him through it. He looked at me like I was out of my mind. And we did it, we designed it, we showed him all the renderings, we walked him through it again. He still wasn't sure until the day he actually walked on set, and then he realized that it worked.
There's this news report, I remember when I was younger, where these guys were sort of robbing people at drive-thrus when they were in the middle car. You know, like, there's a car in front of you, you're the next car, and there's a car behind you, and you can't go anywhere. You can't drive away or anything. These guys come up at gunpoint, rob you. I always thought it was so scary because you're stuck. And I said, that's the place where you should put a death because you're just stuck in a drive-thru.
They're not coming back out of there again, are they?
No, unless they go through the windshield. That's great, excellent. On to the next.
Well, what we have in here is a little bit of banana mashed up. We've got some special effects blood. We've got some white silicone that's been diced up through a meat grinder to make it look like bone chips. And so that when it sticks to you, you've got gray matter and bone hanging off you. You know, everyday stuff.
See, everybody at home, all you see is the pictures and the red carpet and the, you know, bling bling and all that. Look at this is how it is right here. It's wet, dirty, blood on the fucking pavement. So this is how we live our lives, really. 12 hours a day. Craft service. Craft service is good though. But then you got to worry about getting fat. So then when you get home on your 9-hour turnaround, you got to run. So you only actually sleep 6. It's just it's a beautiful thing, man. You gotta love it, right?
Who are you talking to?
Just pondering how much I love my job.
Action!
You have it in your ears.
I know, like all in there. I felt it. It was like really big, wet woolly.
It's just gross, man. I feel weird.
Now!
I was down in Los Angeles, and I was very poor at the time, and I didn't have the bus fare to get to the audition. It was pouring rain, and my pants were soaked all the way through, and about an hour through the walk, I called up my mom, and she was like, oh, don't worry about it, the sun will come out. And then sure enough, like 15, 20 minutes later, the clouds broke and the sun came out, and my pants dried up. And then I went in and did the audition, changed some of the dialogue, and added Ness to Frankie's last name.
You know, that ladder deal that Wobbles took it. I like this. It's old school. And Scotty Cheeks is old school, ladies.
Sometimes I feel like I nail auditions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna book a part. So I felt I was very funny, but New Line didn't want me. I got a phone call from my agent who said that New Line Cinema says that you have a receding hairline and you can't play high school kids. And I've always had a high hairline, but no one's ever called it receding before, and it scared the shit out of me. And I remember just going straight to the liquor store, and I drank until Tuesday. And then on Tuesday, I went into my agent's office, and I was like, I know I got a receding hairline. I'm going home, and I don't care.
New Line thought that Sam looked too old, and we just kept pushing, and they said, no, he's too old, and they kept pushing, and then...
I was headlining the comedy club here, and Jim's assistant, Anna, came out to videotape me.
You know, I don't like wearing my Montreal Expos jersey anymore, because now that the team's gone and I have a shaved head, I look like a sick kid with one last wish. I want to see the Expos play. My hopes are high. My hopes are always low.
So then, my agent in LA went to New Line Cinema, and Richard Brennan, who's executive producer, was watching my tape.
The story I'm told is, while Richard Brenner was watching it, these two agents came by. He said, hey, come here, tell me, how old is that kid?
And he didn't know that that was my agent there, and he went, so what do you girls think? Do you girls think that this kid could play high school? And my agent said, yes, he can play high school. Jesus, book him in this film.
Let it all come together at the same spot. Come on forward.
It all seems too good to be true, to get to come home and shoot a film. I've been touring around North America for a long time without a home, so I was able, with the cash from this movie, to get my first fixed address in 3 years and 11 months.
That's good.
That actually is okay. Is it okay?
Sure. Here's what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna shoot a clean plate, right? We're gonna roll on that for 5 seconds. Then we're gonna pop the engine forward, roll on that for 5 seconds. Sam is gonna go through his motions as if he gets hit, and his head whiplashes back. After we get a take that Jim likes, we're gonna pull Sam out, we're gonna make sure everything's dressed, and then we're gonna put green screen all around.
It all happened so fast, it was like losing my virginity.
Put in the head on the stick, which we lovingly call a splooge head, and then run the engine through and just cut the top of his head off. It's just a typical day on a Jim Wong set.
One of the big challenges was all that hair work. The man-hours are insane. It's basically a gun barrel, essentially. We put a little charge in there, this little squid head, and that sends it flying off.
I didn't realize how ugly my head looks until it was very close to me. Take care of my little angel! God damn, I'm ugly.
We're taking the aftermath of Sam's head here and doing a little bit of redressing on it. Just going to fix up the scalp here and attach it back to a piece of skull plate. It should give us what we need.
Brain matter. It's just gelatin. It's actually edible. A bit of blood. Separate it up a bit.
Okay, so really the long and short of this, stay well back, and you'll see the top of this skull flying and a lot of blood. So stay well back by Video Village.
Yeah, that's not rain protection.
Visual 79, take 7.
I'm not feeling that that's what causes that to click. So I don't know if we gotta be down there for more chain to feel like the weight is pulling it, we come up and then it clicks, or, you know what I mean?
Went to the Home Depot on Sunset Boulevard 3 or 4 days straight for 3 hours at a time. Just walked around and saw where the mercuric acid was stored next to this. It took forever, and I thought what was weird about that was I was in there touching sharp objects and studying poisons, and no one came up to me in this time of Homeland Security to go, what the fuck are you doing?
Of the many challenges that we sort of encountered in Final Destination 3, the first is just coming up with fresh places to kill people. Places that you and I might go into. It's easy to sort of, okay, it's somebody who does extreme sports or somebody who does motocross racing. Well, not that many people do that, but an awful lot of people go into home improvement stores. You know, those big massive warehouses filled with row upon row upon row of threat and danger of like a box toilet falling on your head from the third shelf.
Bags of concrete like 20 feet up, and saw blades everywhere, rakes. I mean, it is quite dangerous.
I hope that FD3 doesn't completely destroy the home improvement store economy, because I think we needed. We need to keep the country going.
Comes around,
we used a local Canadian outfit, and the first request that they had was there was no way that their brand name was going to appear on camera. And of course, if anybody's been in a home improvement store, you know exactly how many times the brand name appears.
What choice do we have? Just give into it?
There's no it.
Nobody wants their trademark attached to a teenager's dying. We kind of run and gun as Jim moves down the aisle, hiding brands, changing brands, bringing new stuff in to cover shots, that kind of thing. We're just going to stack it up tighter on this end. We're going to move the pool stuff to this level. Let's get somebody with some coat hooks or something and hang those pool skimmers.
We couldn't start until the store was closed, and we had to leave the store in its original condition for when the store opened at 6 o'clock the next morning. So it meant that wherever we were, we had to immediately redress the area back to its original configuration as soon as the shooting crew walked away.
Nice. We don't know if Ashley or Ashlyn died first.
Death is fucking complicated.
So when I turn, you want me to turn? Okay.
I think Aaron puts on this, oh, I don't believe it and I don't care because Ian doesn't care kind of thing. But I think, she's not as tough as she wants to be.
Yeah, death is fucking complicated. Like trying to be sarcastic or over the top. I kind of wanted to do it more like she doesn't know. You know what I mean? I'm being sarcastic. Like just how I auditioned it.
So yeah, when I go to an audition, I kind of dress for the part, listen to the kind of music that I think she'd listen to, and just get my whole head wrapped around what this character's about.
The making of Aaron. She does a very good job. We're gonna give her credit. Seriously, this is all I do.
I went to some shows, and I listened to some punk music, and I painted my nails black and came to set, and you have Aaron. It's so much eye makeup. I feel like a big eyeball with bangs.
Okay, let me get this straight. I'm gonna OD on nail polish, and Ian is gonna be embarrassed to death.
Look, you saw what happened to Wendy, all right? What's happened to the others? You just saw the pictures here. I mean...
I'm hoping people notice my forklift driving, because I took 2 days to learn how to drive a forklift.
This is so dangerous!
2 really, really intense days where I had Dustin teach me how to drive a forklift, and we went from everything that was as simple on the first day to just driving in a straight line, which is incredibly hard on a forklift. You have no idea how difficult that is to do. And then by the end of the second day, we'd had sort of a slalom course, S-curve sent through pylons.
Take that, pylon.
In the actual place where he's driving, all the aisles are only 8 feet wide, so the machine actually takes 9.5 feet to turn in. So we're teaching him how to do little shortcuts to get it so it'll turn in those areas.
I felt so incredibly confident that I was really excited to come to set. Came to set, and the first day promptly crashed the forklift.
Yeah, sorry. We might want to have cleanup on aisle 5.
Who was sitting behind us?
I've discovered that I can't act and drive a forklift at the same time. When I'm like, the performance is going really well, the forklift driving is absolutely terrible. And when I'm actually driving the forklift really well, I'm not in any way paying attention to the performance. It's not complicated, it's simple. And because the forklift usually involves driving around things that are going to be knocked over, I'm going to crush other actors, I usually tend to sort of focus on the forklift. So when you're watching the movie, you're like, God damn, that's some great forklift driving, but God, that guy sucks. You'll know why. Right now, we're in the Build It Center. We're in a set that's built to look like a Build It Center. And they've done a dang fine job, if I may say so. The shelf tips is an occurrence of something else that's happened, and there's sheets of plywood that come shooting off like cards falling, right? It might hurt, though. I haven't determined that yet. I'll let you know after this take.
I love reading a scene where, whatever, I kick out a window, I jump off a roof, I pull them out of the thing, and you get hungry, you get this feeling inside that you just want to do it, man. It's kind of like becoming that character. And I'm an athletic guy. I've played sports my whole life, so I like jumping off a car and maybe I scrape my knee or I got a couple bruises. I think it's cool, Every guy thinks it's cool. Don't let anybody fool you.
As soon as I get in there, I'm gonna look up, and then I'll wait.
We're going to be down here with one piece of plywood that we're going to flip over and hit the actors with.
A lot of actors don't say this, but a lot of the hard stuff, your stunt double does, which I'm very good friends with my stunt double. You make it look cool, and then they take those hits where you go, ooh, shit, like, you all right?
Go!
you thinking when you're just watching that test?
I was thinking no problem.
No problem?
I'm a tad concerned. Are they doing this with us or with? Yeah. Yeah, I'm a tad concerned.
It's foam core, which is kind of like marshmallow, the marshmallow of paper.
That's such bullshit. Oh my God.
Look, I'm not gonna kid you. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna hurt. Oh yeah, maybe it'll hurt. Sure. It's not gonna kill you.
John? Yeah. Guys, quiet.
Love you, man. Love you too. Hey, you guys aren't going to war, for God's sake. And action!
It's a lot of that in this industry, you know. Can you jump off that bridge? Oh yeah, no, there's safety. You just kind of got to go, okay, I'm doing this. I'm in it now.
I want to apologize for this next shot, but this is not me. It's not who I am. I'm a very peaceful person, especially Glenn.
We're about to put some nails through Aaron's head. Pretty happy with the way the likeness came out. A couple complications with blood. Blood rigs are always exciting that way.
And the nails right now are where?
They're in the skull of the body. They're fiberglass right in there, and then when we hit the switch, the air drives the nail out. One starts at the top of the skull. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 out here.
I think it's going to be weird. I haven't even seen the mold of my head yet. I don't know if I really want to.
I hope she's not psychically wounded by this.
You never know what you look like. You know what I mean? Like, you always see the flat image of yourself. So when I saw that, I saw the actual, like, full image of myself, and I was like, oh my God.
And as blood's draining into our sinuses, and you go.
Okay, real quiet here. Bill, you hot?
Everybody set? Everybody knows what's happening?
Roll camera.
3, 2, 1, action.
Oh,
Well, let's go look real quick.
wow. I just wonder what it's going to be like for my loved ones to see me die, really. It's kind of going to be freaky. You know, hopefully I want to live my life and, you know, have kids and get married, experience life and die of old age and die happy and die fulfilled.
You had this great epiphany, and then we riddled that bitch with nails. We're all pretty spiritual here on this
There's a
set.
third camera coming in.
Yo, this is Texas Battle coming to you live from the setup FD3. We about to go on up in here. I gotta do some blocking for my next scene. Do my thing, you know, show y'all how we do it back home in Houston, Texas. I'm representing UT all the way. You already know I'm a true Longhorn. This is the set. It's the set we've been shooting on for the longest. Got the line producer Art right there. Got my man that pay my bills. That's Craig Perry right there. Without him, I ain't even on the set without this man right here. That's real talk. That's my man, you know. It's my man, Ryan. Say what's up to behind the scenes, baby.
Okay, come on.
Okay. This is Jim Wan, the director. He don't play when it's time to start rolling. What's up, Jim? What we doing?
We're gonna block the scene.
We about to start blocking.
Action. Come on. So you gotta be right. You gotta get you right here. There's a guy walking out. There's guys doing lifting, heavy lifting here. I'm gonna crack both of you.
You don't crack both of you left.
Explain. Now you start.
All right, look. Ashley and Ashton were in the first.
When he first comes out, show him the picture, and he knocks it away.
Okay, look. Ashley and Ashton.
You can do
Fuck no, I don't care, Kevin. You shouldn't care.
Keep going. Wendy, she looks like this. I look behind her. And the guy comes in.
We have fun on the set all the time. Great casting crew, man.
This is how they get extra lines. For instance, if they catch the ball, you got it, baby. Extra line. If they miss the ball, you go.
How'd you drop that? He gave me a look. Okay, cut. See, there's always changes every day. Jim just cut like 4 lines. 4 of my shit. 4 lines. You shouldn't care either.
That's how you say you know this already.
Wait, fuck shit. Wait, you shouldn't care. You shouldn't care either.
It's the second
because
line, man.
Because what you said is bullshit. I just said it, Jim. This is Hilda. This is the lady that stays on me for every line. She makes sure you stay on point. You can't say one word get past her. Not even a period. She'll catch you. Texas, that's supposed to be a question, not a period. She'll catch you. I'm telling you, man. She keeps the whole, everything you hear her say on TV, that's because Hilda makes sure shit's right.
He's the king of adding the word fuck.
You're on crack.
Both of them. Okay, just listen, Ashley and Ashlyn were in the first.
The part itself, it wasn't written for African American. It was written for an Hispanic at first. So I remember seeing the breakdown, and it had Luis Romero. Well, actually, it said Hector. It had Hector Romero. So it wasn't no part for me. But me personally, I'm like, hey, man, it'd be great to get in this movie. 1 week later, hey, they opened up the part for African Americans. So I'm like, oh, man, I got to get in there. I go in for the audition. I'm reading the lines. I'm like, oh, I can do this. No problem. I can be tough. You know, put a little bandana on, show a little muscles, a little wife beater. Be all right.
All right. Yeah, man. Hey, I'm ready to go, man. Ah, shit, motherfucker, my nuts, man.
This is totally different from who I usually go out for or who I play. I'm more of a comedic guy, more of a funny guy. This guy's just straight asshole.
Fuck. You know why? I just win, baby. I just win, baby.
There we go. All right, excellent. Respect that. Still gonna say that.
I just pooped myself.
You see that? They had to drill the machine down and hold it because I got everybody scared in here. See, that's how you gotta do it in here sometimes. You gotta let people know who's in charge in here. See, the white man might pay me, but the black man running shit.
Well, we needed a piece of weight room equipment that would crush a guy's head like a melon, and sadly, they don't have that kind of thing on the marketplace right now. They try and avoid that kind of thing, so much so that nothing comes even close to being able to crush a guy's head like a melon. Well, I guess this was one of somebody else's concepts about how to do it, and you can see, you know, inherently how this doesn't crush the head the way they wanted to crush the head, and in fact, they've actually severed the head, and the head's gone flying. So what you really need is to actually sandwich the head right smack between the weights. And the other important element is that only one failure could occur instead of like things popping off all over the place and stuff. What you really want is just one thing to happen and then boom, done, because that's sort of what that scene's all about. So this was my concept of what was going to happen with the weight machine. Originally, these things started closer together, but then when we started adding all the weights, we found that we were crushing the weights instead of the guy's heads, so we had to push this apart. But anyways, my idea was that this pin here would pop off and that these two metal flanges would just fall uselessly and that these would just fall on the weight of gravity. But special effects needs things to work perfectly, and they don't like the idea of hoping that these will fall simultaneously exactly, which is what you need to crush the guy's head, so you're not just shoving it in two different directions. So they put a kind of a hinge element here that would slide down, but the actual way that it worked was very similar to my concept, and the machine itself was exactly the way I designed it.
3, 2, 1, sword.
And action.
What I tell you, Kevin, huh? Fuck that. I just win. That's all I know how to do, Kevin. Baby, I just win.
The weight room, you know, you go to the gym and you run and you look around and you go, some of these people should be killed. You start thinking about deaths, and I said, I just want an Oakland Raider fan to get hit by a bus. And started thinking, where could you make that work? You're not going to do it at a game or whatever, so you take an individual Raider fan and put him at the gym. Then the gym, I went up to the weight room, where obviously I never go, and started looking around going, okay, that could crush the guy. And then put all this Raider propaganda nonsense in the guy's mouth and squash him. And I'd test friends and stuff, go, hey, we'll do Final Station 3. And the Raider guy says this, and the squash, like, oh, I can't wait to see that. A Raider fan would love to see a Raider fan get squished. You can't do it with a 49er fan because they go, that wasn't funny. But a Raider fan would go, cool. You know, and everybody else would stand up and cheer.
You do all this for, what, 2 seconds of a movie shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, all this we're going to do for 2 seconds, y'all. 2 seconds of a movie shot. If you're claustrophobic, then this is not for you. You got to keep the same expression the whole time. So you can't move. So if your expression is like this, you gotta keep that during the whole time. And it's like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. And you only get one nostril to breathe.
That was cool.
We're just doing a video mix to lay out the shot so we can get the head in the correct position, so when the head goes, it looks realistic. That's basically what we're doing.
And 3, 2, 1, go.
You see how they did me? It's like majorly, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Hey, Texas, call your mom. Bishop, what the fuck are you doing here?
Listen.
The splooge is pretty gross, but it's also pretty funny, you know. It's a challenge to really just stay in the moment and not think about having bananas and strawberries thrown at you.
I think Mary gets the definite worse end of the blood situation than I did.
Oh, you're gonna splooge again?
Jim.
Oh, there he is.
What's the end of it?
Even though you read the script, you just kind of don't really think about those things until you're actually there, so it's been surprising.
Hey, shit.
We have only one shot at this, unless we want to change clothes and do all that shit, so.
No.
There was one scene we did where the splooge gun, as they call it, was actually basically right in front of my face, almost. It was really close up, and those things are powerful. Like, I mean, they hit you hard. So the whole time, like, while we're doing the scene, I had these butterflies, and I was trying not to anticipate it. So it's very real fear there, even though it's not real blood, but, you know, it's got some adrenaline going for us anyway.
Yeah, Ryan!
Get out of my way.
See, last time Mara got the big sploosh.
Yeah.
It's about time you got it.
Yeah, it's about time.
Jesus Christ. I almost threw up right here. I almost did. I almost said, oh my God.
Okay, and action.
Dude, he said no drinks. If you spill that shit, we're gonna have to clean it up like last time. Happy biatch, nothing to spill. Why does Siri keep it so cold in here? Maybe it's supposed to be colder for the machines or whatever. Oh, a few degrees won't hurt. Ugh. Ew, Celine? Brittany? Dude, are we like the only cool people that come here or what? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start with the hard one.
Let's start with the nudity.
Yeah, let's just start with it and get it over with.
I originally was like, not doing it. Then I had a meeting with Glenn and Jim about it, and they totally put me at ease, and like they're explaining the whole kind of psycho thing where your skin, like if you're wearing clothes, you kind of have something to protect you, but when you're just like bare skin, like that's it.
It pulls the audience into a place that they're more comfortable with and then kind of twists that so that their nudity, which is at first titillating, makes them so much more vulnerable when they're in danger.
Yeah, you're so vulnerable to like everything, especially being burnt on your bare skin. Like that's something that will like totally freak the audience out. Once you watch it, like I watch the playbacks and it's like, oh my God, there's her boobs. And then you're like, okay. And then you're like, okay, now I'm just like disturbed. You don't even think about the nudity anymore. Like, so I'm glad that they did it that way and it wasn't sort of a,
they haven't exploited it.
Yeah, it's not like a TNA thing, and so it made me feel comfortable.
I mean, of course you have Shalon and Crystal take off their tops at that point. Ha ha ha, whoa, you know. But the nudity goes away, and I think it'll be very disturbing. It's not a gratuitous thing, because that's how people often tan fully naked. That's how I did when I researched it. My wife, Kristen, said, you gotta do a tanning bed. She goes, you gotta get in the booth. Then I went in there, naked. I got the goggles and my notebook and writing stuff down. I was just like giggling. I thought the guy was gonna come throw me out. While you're in there, you're trying to figure out how can I pin someone in here. That gets your anxiety going. And then the machine's going. And then parts of my body that I don't want cooking started to feel like they were cooking. Get me out of here. Like 5 minutes didn't go fast enough. But on my way home, I called Jim. I go, I think this is gonna be great. There's a lot of shit here.
The other thing that we always said to each other was, why do we always write movies and shows about freaks and weird-looking people? And, you know, I've had it with that. Let's do something with good-looking girls. So the tanning salon was a response to that.
God, every time we come here.
The auditioning process, I think I had 2. I don't know if I had 3. I don't remember.
Yeah, they actually originally brought us both in. And then they kept her. And then they called me. I was driving down the street and they said, no, we want you to come back and do it singly. No, like seriously, I totally fucked up. Like it's super hot in here. I'm like dying. I'm so glad that we got brought in together. Not that I think we wouldn't have booked it separately, but it was you know, having chemistry as playing best friends, you have to have something where you guys can get along. And
Yeah, because
I
it'd be
mean,
horrible if we didn't get along.
and we
We're
joke
together
about
all
that
the time.
We spend 14 hours a day. Even when we're not on set, we're in one of the other's trailers, hanging out, watching movies,
Even
or
when
talking.
we're not on set, we're on the phone to each other now.
Yeah. So they bonded us. They brought us together. We just were missing. That's all.
Happy. Thank you, Final Destination.
I guess it's just we're trying to fake the.
I can't believe these girls are doing this.
They're my heroes. Look at the burn marks at the end of this.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Well, that doesn't hurt her? No. Listen, she goes hot.
Is that her skin?
Any questions? She can't get out. And it's just, you know, she's trapped. You can't get out. You're on fire. Kick like hell.
The new stunt gel that's been developed for this show is amazing. And we can actually have our skin on fire without any worry about wearing flame retardant.
Okay, action, Leslie.
Oh, I've been working with gels and stuff for a few weeks, just all different stuff, different recipes, and I finally came up with one, and we're getting 26 seconds all on the chest, on skin burns with just gel and fuel. It's like extremely long for what's going on. It's not even hot on my finger.
Dunk our arms in it and pour it on ourselves, put the accelerant on, light it up, and away we go. 25 seconds.
And action. Take the shit out of it.
My favorite death, because it was the funniest to me, was the whole tanning salon sequence, because we do such a long tease where we just, you know, we know something's going to happen to those girls. We just don't know how and when. And then as it begins to happen and play itself out, you just guess ahead. Of course, you know what it's going to be. So the music for that, it was just so over the top. Because we teased, and it was suspenseful and suspenseful, and then we're back to Wendy, and then we're back in the salon. And the remarkable thing is that it works. The movie wants that because it makes the story bigger than the characters, so the audience can really get in there with the fantasy of it all. One of the tools that was created specifically for the scoring of this film, this is the grossometer. And we debated it could be a grossometer, but we thought that grossometer was far more elegant sounding. Captain Bob Fernandez, my music mixer, did the artwork for this. And we would let the orchestra know what the grosso rating was. So this one was like at about a 60 as it was filmed, but I challenged the orchestra to bring it up with their performance to at least an 80. And I think the performance really, we were close to 100 on that. This was an important part of having an effective score for this film. In order to achieve this roller coaster sequence, we pretty much had to pull all the stops technologically. One of the things we have to do is take a really small roller coaster in a mediocrely sized amusement park and put a gigantic roller coaster in its place. That roller coaster is 65 feet high. Jim's roller coaster is 250, 190 feet high. So now we have this sort of a Franken roller coaster. Part one roller coaster, part another roller coaster.
We basically did the full sequence in what's called a previs, or pre-visualization. It's a very kind of, medium to low quality, bare bones animatic. And this allows Jim to set up his camera angles before he actually sets foot on stage and does it in person. It saves time on that upfront process. And also allows us to plan the complexity of the shots.
What previs enables us to do is it enables us to sort of work out the mechanics of the scene. How are we going to shoot it? What kind of lens do we need? Do we need to be on a crane, or are we going to be on the roller coaster car itself? We sort of divvy things up and we go, okay, look, this we can get practically. Let's just get this at the roller coaster. This shot here, well, it's a combination of CGI and practical stuff. This shot here, it has to be pure CGI. It gives Jim and Glenn and the other creatives opportunities to go, oh, well, Jesus, you know, if we're gonna be here, we can do this. You know, so it becomes yet another creative mixing pot where people go, oh, let's try this.
And ready, play. Ready at 3, 2, 1.
That is great.
So that's one of the greatest advantages to having previs, the ability to decide how to achieve something almost unachievable.
Since we don't have an actual roller coaster that has a 360-degree loop, we're recreating on the stage. We're changing the speed of the film and the camera. You don't make any sharp movements. I mean, in fact, if you're going to move at all, move like in slow motion. The camera is basically going to do all the traveling for the cars. So as the camera moves, it'll appear that the roller coaster is moving, and then we get our shot.
Both of the ends can be moved up and down so that we can create positions of either coming down a hill or have it in a dip, for example, for some of the shots. So we need to be able to move the ends up and down to create those positions. We've got another deck that allows us to basically control the position of the deck in space, doing high-speed drive-by shots of the cars that'll be done over at another studio in the next few days. We have another one that uses a single car that you've seen some of the stunt guys practicing on that creates a single car rolling quite quickly. So it's a whole series of different rigs that as we glue them together and as the CG people add all the backgrounds is going to give us all the pieces of the coaster coming apart, breaking, and the stuff that you couldn't do on a real coaster unless you built it yourself and destroyed it. The funny thing about filmmaking is no matter how many cool computer toys and big hydraulics and massive rigs we have, in the end it all tends to come down to something simple for some of the shots. And a lot of the shots where we're in close on one car are done just on a simple little tripod and 4 guys on each corner with pipes just shaking and jiggling. And it gives you the ability to really control something in a very fine way.
That was really great on the movement, guys, everybody. Just a little framing issue, so we're going to do one more. By the way, Mary, the wind-blown look is you.
Okay, once again.
What's so great not to yell?
I know.
And action.
Jim, frame 143.
Yes, Jack. Chelan is a perv.
Long really likes the bullhorn.
It's not a size thing, but 3, 2, 1, down.
Let me down, let me down. Let him down, let him down.
It's hard, man. I mean, obviously we're both having a hard time, but I have no restraint, so I'm really like trying to fucking struggle. And just being upside down and, you know, struggling at the same time. Head goes, and then I lost my voice. So, you know, Red Bull gives you wings, right?
280. Sequence of events again. We'll turn you over, get you in position. Camera will roll, the wind will start, and then you'll hear an action, at which point you should start the screaming. After 2 beats of that, the wind will stop, the shot will still keep going, okay? And so keep going until you hear cut.
Wow, this really sucks balls.
Yeah. And so basically they let the harnesses go just enough so that it would look like we were really holding our own weight, and it really felt like we were, so we're both in there just dying. Like, I'm holding on to the harness upside down and trying to keep myself in with my legs and my knees, and I just got so bruised up and I was sore after hours of doing that because I'm just holding on myself with my arms and just terrified that I was gonna fall.
I feel like I got raped by a 400-pound gorilla.
Wow. Oh, man. That was one of the worst things I've ever done in my entire fucking life. And it sounds like we're bitching, I know, but it really, really
It's actually, like,
sucked
it's really
in such
emotional.
a
Were you
profound
emotional?
way.
Oh yeah, because I literally felt like I was going to cut in half at the hips.
Yeah, this bastard here.
Yeah, that's right.
Why the fuck are we in these goddamn
my
harnesses?
hips, I don't
it's not
feel-
the belt, it's the harness.
I don't feel
It's
it
the
going
belt
in my
cutting
head.
into the fucking harness. I could have dealt with the fucking belt on its own.
I just can't, like, no wonder they saved us for the last, because we might have not made it. That's why. Just in case we lose one from a coma.
Well, you know what? The only thing you can do at this point in time, when you're sewed into your clothes and your hips are hurting, is this. Yeah.
What's happening? So I'm waiting. These shots take a long time to do. We have a record of 4 shots yesterday. We're doing a record 1 shot today already. I believe Texas was falling asleep because it's just too exciting on this ride.
I'm tired, so me personally, when I'm tired, I get a little sleep on the rail for a little bit. Action. Yeah, let's rock and roll, let's go, woo! Woo, cut. Fuck. Go right back to sleep, man. That's what we get, that's what we do, on and off, like a switch. So I'm just, acting like the wind's blowing, I'm just going up this big ass loop, and then, okay, I'm getting tired, hurry up, say cut. He's not saying cut, you're gonna lose me. Okay, I'm dead.
You know, when you make a good movie, you gotta take the quality time, right? When you make a good shot, you gotta take time to set it up, and that's all how it works. A lot of people say we don't get paid to act, we get paid to wait. I'm starting to believe that saying.
First stage of this gag is Ryan trying to get himself off the broken piece of harness. So he does this. To pull his jacket up, as he does this, that's when he gets hit.
Well, I guess I'm about to get cut in half. This is like the plate shot of me struggling, and then they're gonna put on this harness.
Second stage is he actually gets yanked on a cable. He's wearing green screen pants.
And then whenever they pull me out of here, it'll look like just my top half's going, right? Because all the green. I do a backflip like this high. So it's gonna be. And I'm hungover.
We're gonna load your mouth with blood. When you spit over your right shoulder. You don't want to spit on Merrick.
Oh, not on my left?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
All right. Now your head needs to be to the right. I'm sorry, to the left. Up a tiny. There you go. That's perfect. Let's go. Yeah, you're perfect. Let's go.
And roll sound. And 3, 2, 1, go! We've got.
Ready? It's Mary and the dummy of Ryan being pulled away and leaving the lower half of his body. It's very disgusting. What are we doing to our children?
Anatomically correct?
Pretty much, yeah. We went with a ragged sort of look rather than that anatomical dummy look that always kind of looks cheesy. So that lot of trauma look.
All right, stand by for picture. And 3, 2, 1, go! Let's go, Clark. And we've cut.
Pretty unscathed, actually.
Yeah, it's like the first time that's ever happened. Usually I'm covered in it. I'm okay.
Here we are, done almost. It's actually kind of sad. That's the only bad thing about liking people you work with is you miss them.
Guys, it's a show wrap on Ryan.
You make friends, but you never really talk to anybody ever again. It's really, I mean, you never mean for it to be that way. It's just always how it is. Always. It's weird. Maybe that's why actors are so bad at relationships.
Boy, man. You were hilarious
We'll do it again sometime. It'd be great.
It's an environment that you create once. You know, you just never quite get the same feeling again. I guess it's life in general, you know?
I mean, I feel weird. It feels weird. You know, one part of me really wants to go home, but I really gonna miss this too.
I'm not accepting it. I'm not. This
denying. Deny.
It's bittersweet. Bittersweet.
I just have a feeling it's not over. Next week they'll be like, okay, so we forgot to do this shot. So we're meeting back in Vancouver. You know, one more time. I don't know. It doesn't feel finished yet.
Back this way?
Yeah, back down. There. Yeah. That should do.
All right, here we go. Stand by. Thank you again very much. That's a wrap. This is the first time we'll be showing the movie to all the studio heads at the same time we're showing to the audience. So when people start throwing popcorn at the screen, you know, we're in trouble.
It's you, Wendy! You're dead!
In this case, I don't believe it was a test screening audience that dictated a change. They confirmed it, but when we were cutting it, we knew that the ending didn't work. You know, it just sat there. It didn't seem to address the issue of whether they escaped death or they were alive, because it just happens and it stops and the movie stops. So it's just too abrupt. You know, when you watch this very loud, fast, visceral movie, you can't end like that. You know, you just can't end like that. It just doesn't work. It feels off. Test screen went pretty well, I thought. It scored better than the first one in the initial thing, but mainly everybody said they hated the ending. So I'm gonna shoot something else. That's it.
We kind of knew that the ending was flat. And the day before, Craig Perry and Jim Wong, we all got together and, you know, tried to come up with suggestions for what another additional ending might be. Craig says, you know, why don't we kill everybody? And I said, you know, they made me and Willard, we had to reshoot Willard so that Crispin Glover would live. I'm like, they're never gonna let you kill, you know, the nicest, most talented cast we've had in this franchise. And at the theater, you know, they have a focus group where they interview like 20 people. And they go, oh, I liked it. But I kind of feel like I've seen it before. The New Line guy says, oh, you know what? I'll tell you what they haven't seen. Kill them all.
I think what people came to see by the third one particularly is the deaths. And that's the signature franchisable element of the movie. And so when you leave three guys still standing and you don't even give them a hint that they're in danger, audiences, they feel gypped. And you're like, why are there three bodies? Why are there three walking, living people in this movie when I really want everyone to die?
Get rid of them. Kill them all. Wipe them out. I think that's the real surprise people aren't going to expect because they're so used to seeing that extra bit that makes you think, ooh, they're going to come back. Not in this movie. They're dead.
The end of these movies have never really had what the beginning of the movies have. You know, a plane crash, a roller coaster crash, a freeway crash. And the endings always had a lesser magnitude. And so when they wanted a new ending, Jim said, let's do something that's in the ballpark of what the beginning accidents are. So he said a subway, and I said, yeah, that's not so easy.
I lucked out and caught an early train. I hope I'm not messing you up or... No, it's just... I think I had a sense that you were coming now. Basically, they said that it was going to be a huge, you know, subway accident, and that was kind of the first I heard, and that was basically all that they told me until I got here, pretty much.
They said, you know, it tested really well and people liked it, but they all hated the ending. It was like good and bad news. I was like, well, shit, okay. What the hell are we gonna do? I was like, what's up?
Craig called me from Paris. Hey, Craig Perry. Oh, we're reshooting the ending, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could do it. I'll check my schedule. Yeah, okay. Bye. Oh my God, we're doing this, and I'm dying. I'm gonna die. It's gonna be awesome. Woo! That was pretty much what I did. It's pretty awesome. I didn't really understand if they were gonna cut out the horse thing or not, and I was like, are you kidding me? Did all that horse shizzle my nizzle for nothing? But luckily it's staying in.
Just nobody sent me a script. I got a call basically that said I had to report to Vancouver. So I got on a plane, and finally a little package comes, and it's got a script in it, and finally I'm like, oh God, the script, and I flip through it, and I'm not in it. And I think maybe they've just brought me here to work just to sort of gloat about the fact that they've totally written me out of the end of the movie, and I'm just gonna have a little chair set aside where I get to watch the other actors, Sean and Laura, those bastards, take my place. But no, then I show up today, and apparently I'm getting cut in half, hence the green outfit. Some sick, twisted bastard at New Line thought I didn't die gruesomely enough. So now we're gonna chop me.
I think that because the franchise has always dealt with the death in a humorous way, it takes some of the sting off of just the inherent cruelty of mass murder.
We're rigging me up with 5 gallons of blood. And then 2 guys are gonna drag me while blood spews out from behind me. And if that doesn't satisfy the sick bastards of America, well then, I don't know what will.
Killing everybody, especially these characters who don't deserve to die, I'm not that high on that. It just seems like a meaner world. When you did this 6 years ago, or a meaner United States maybe, that now we're like going, kill them all, better you than me. But, you know, I don't know, that's what it feels like a little bit.
And action!
I wish I was making Hal Ashby or Elia Kazan kind of movies, but I'm not. Yeah, it's a little bit of a drag, but you know, I'm a whore enough to kill him all.
You know, I didn't really mind, you know, whether or not I was gonna die. It's like, if it works for the story, man, you know, kill me. It's all good, I'll do whatever you want.
Well, I think it's important that everyone dies because it adds closure to the whole story, and no one likes to see someone survive, especially Julie, I mean.
I really like the fact that we all bite it. I mean, I think that's cool. But then, like I said, I was reading, I was like, oh, we die. I was like, oh, shit, oh, well. I kept reading, and then, you know, all of a sudden, it was a premonition. In the past, if we recognized that it was about to go down, we usually changed it. So because I recognized it was going down, and we are on the midst of changing it whenever we end the movie, I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was, you know, I thought it was pretty neat.
I had written both versions, where the one version, she's literally on the track thinking that it's a premonition and trying to wake herself up from the premonition when the train hits her. So not only is it not a premonition, is it, you know, that's it, you're dead. And they all die. And then we added the alternate version, which is, it comes out and it's a premonition, but can they get off? So for me, this alternate way is actually more, you know, open-ended and hopeful, if you can call it that. Let's face it, at the end, we're all defeated by death. It's just a matter of how long you can, you know, stay in the game. We were supposed to be finished in December, and it turns out that we've just finished a week ago. Today is January 30th, and we're opening February 10th. So it sort of became this kind of rush to finish and not too much time to contemplate what had happened. But I feel like, you know, we did a good job. I think it's a very exciting movie. The premieres at the Man Chinese Theater, which is a huge theater, you know, so that'd be exciting. And I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark there. So it's a good theater for me to watch this movie at.